and welcome to Let's Talk Sunday, where we talk about everything under the sun and nothing is off limits. Welcome to Let's Talk Sunday. Hey everybody, hi, how y'all doing today? Sharice Johnson Moore here. Hello everyone, and welcome to Let's Talk Sunday. I greatly appreciate everyone coming in and participating, with our conversation. And I wanted to say it is an honor and a privilege to bring you this episode for Let's Talk Sunday, and our title for today is Mental Health is Important. Mental health is important. Some people ask me, why do I talk about this topic so much? Because, excuse me, I want to make sure that I'm doing my part. Excuse me, I had to get some quench my thirst, my throat. And I wanted to make sure that I do my part in helping others realize that they may need help. And it took me. I'm going to speak about my own experience with mental health. I didn't realize I had mental health until I had a nervous breakdown, and that wasn't a pleasant experience at all. It was not. And sometimes when you have experiences in your life that are very traumatic, or you have experienced trauma and grief, death, grief, traumatic experiences, maybe something that's happened in your childhood that has not set your mind at ease, and it kind of worries you. Excuse me. It kind of worries you, and it stays with you for long periods of time. And sometimes we don't realize that we're dealing with different types of mental health issues. And when you go through certain situations in your life, sometimes they can affect your mental stability. And maybe being rejected by people may be one. Because everybody don't handle rejection the same. And or some people don't know how to deal with passing of a loved one. And other things of that nature that sometimes give us pause, like I saw firsthand example of how when a person passes away, how their closest relatives cannot handle the passing of the loved one. And I experienced that firsthand with my dad. My grandmother died. His mother died, my grandmother. And how he was kind of out of it, loopy, in the fog and the daze. And I felt the same way when she passed. And it affected me in ways I never thought it would affect me. And You know, um, sometimes we have the effects of trying to, when growing up and your childhood and everybody wants you to be perfect Annie, perfect Annie. I'm just throw this name out there. No particular. I'm not talking about nobody particular. I'm just, make it this this situation is a hypothetical. I'm gonna say that. So you got perfect Annie, and everybody wants Annie to be perfect, and everybody wants Annie to be straight A student, and she don't mess with boys, and she does what she's supposed to do, and everybody has her on this pedestal. And sometimes being put on a pedestal like that can have tremendous effect on the person with their mindset of I can't get this wrong and I can't do this wrong and I can't mess up and I can't, and sometimes that's the pressure that we put on our own mental health. That we have to be perfect people. We have to do perfect things. We have to do everything perfect, and everything's got to be in decent and order. And and I noticed my grandmother used to be that way. But um, where she washed clothes a certain way, put the clothes in the wash machine a certain way, did things a certain way, cleaned her house all the time. Grandma had OCD, and and that's why she raising me. That's why I'm like that myself. I've taken on some of her traits, some of her habits, and I had to learn how not to get upset at people when they didn't do things the way I did them. And sometimes when you put that pressure on a person that they got to be perfect and everything's got to be this way, and it does something to you mentally. It does. You might not realize you're doing it to the person, but you're doing it to the person. Um, and sometimes people that have experienced hurt in their life and they don't know how to communicate that hurt, they sometimes go and communicate it by hurting other people. And mental abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse are such things that exist. Okay, so you know, um, some of the things in our lives, they affect us, but we don't realize it at the time that it's eating our mental health up. It's making our mental health deteriorate. And sometimes you got to get on you got to get on the medicine, and you got to go to see the therapist and the psychologist, and you have to go see the people, because do you realize that majority of the people that are homeless have mental issues? Do you realize majority of the people that are homeless have mental issues? I did not realize that uh, I didn't realize that some people, that some people um, that are homeless have mental issues. I never thought of that concept before. I never thought of that, thinking of that. Um, okay, let me type this in. I want to find out these facts. Let me see. I know I was supposed to look this stuff up earlier, but uh, oh, I can't spell today. Okay. It says about 30% of the people who are chronically homeless have mental health conditions. And it says 1 in 9 Americans has an alcohol or drug problem other than nicotine, compared to the approximately 1 in 3 homeless persons. An estimated 20 to 25% of the homeless population in the United States suffer from serious mental issues, compared to the 4 to 6% of the general population. That is a high number. That's a real high number. That you're thinking that, when you look at a person and and I always wonder, this would always used to boggle my mind of why are people homeless? Why are the homeless people? And I never thought of it as until I dealt with my own mental issues of how they ended up homeless. I never realized that some people's mental stability had broken down so bad that they can't take care of themselves, and or they've experienced bad experiences in their life, and these experiences have had traumatic effects on them. And because of this traumatic effect on them, they rather stay in the street. They rather be homeless than stay with family members, stay in a shelter, or have their own place, because their minds are so their minds are just shifted. Their minds have shifted from thinking that they're in a safe place to they think their safe place is outside. And I never really thought of it like that, because it is no fun being homeless. It's no fun being homeless and having mental issues at the same time. So, and it is a lot to deal with. Um, uh, if you have young children and you see that their manners or their habits or their mannerisms have changed, and you see that they are, I'm just saying, check on your children. Check on them. Ask them how they doing. Ask them, I know this doctor, her name is Dr. Ebony. She's on Instagram. I'll get y'all the information for next week's episode to give y'all the information to her card. She is a psychologist, she's a therapist, and she has created a card deck and notebooks and activities for psychological, for people that deal with mental health issues that need therapy. They're therapeutic cards. They're called therapy cards. And get her card. Her name is Dr. Ebony. Let me see if I can find this information. Let me see. Let me go to Instagram. Nope. I need to find somebody. That's how Instagram do you. Okay, EBONY. No, that's not how you spell it. EBONY. Okay, her name is Ebony Butler. She has a PhD, and she's a psychologist, and she's the creator of My Therapy Cards. And she's a speaker and a consultant in helping women heal from trauma and diet culture. Okay, she's created these cards, and this is what they look like. I don't know if y'all can see that, maybe because it's in this too much is okay. Let me see if I can get this in front of you. This is her Instagram page, and I follow her I follow her all the time. She's created these therapy cards, and they're very, very, very good. They're amazing. I suggest all therapists, psychologists get these cards for their patients. Okay, because they seem to be really, they seem to be they give you activities to the what, when, whys, and hows of mental health. You know, how to keep your mental health stable, how to keep your, how to stimulate your mind and ask you why and what caused you to do this, and why did you do this, and it's a really good card. Her name is Dr. Ebony Butler, and I suggest that y'all check her out. She's on Instagram. And the thing is that we have it. I remember when I was 16, and at that age, you're very influenced by your environment, right? And everything and whatnot. And during the course of, how could I say it? I was being tutored by a older young man, and me and him started having relations. Y'all get what I'm saying? And and I'm thinking in my mind, I was thinking that if me and this the guy, he's older, and I was like, so and I think I can't remember how I approached, I vest this topic, and he was like, me and him would get together, had a relations, and then I would leave, right? And he was tutoring me, and that's how we started like that, as him tutoring me, and it evolved to something else. And I took, by us having the relations, as us being in a relationship. See, didn't nobody teach me that. Didn't nobody teach me that. That you can still have relations with somebody, but don't be in a relationship with the person. And because this person rejected me when I assumed that we was in a relationship, and they said we could never be in a relationship because I'm too old for you, and you're not my type. You're too young for me. And I was like, okay, all right. I didn't take that news very well. So, and then all the stuff was going on at my house, and my grandparents was arguing and things like that. And it just compounded, and I tried to commit suicide because of that person's rejection. And I went to they took me to the hospital, and they said I'm gonna be all right and everything, whatnot and stuff. And um how could I say this? I talked to the doctor what was explained, and the doctor explained to my grandparents. And do you know this person had the nerve to come to the hospital and sit by my bedside after they had just rejected me, and they're sitting there like, "Oh, you all right? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm good." I'm sitting there thinking, "Why are you here?" You know, um, you know, But my thing was, I'm in the hospital because you rejected me. Now I've gotten to the point where I can handle rejection more better because I'm older. I'm 51 now. I'm 51. I can handle rejection better, and I've learned. It's taken me a long time to get over that kind of pain, that pain from people being rejection, because when you're growing up and your parents don't raise you, and you feel like you're rejected by your parents, and then somebody else come into your life, and you looking for everybody to accept you, to accept you, and then when the people reject you, it does not do anything good for your mental stability. And you had to learn how to love yourself, child. Love yourself. Where you get to the point where you love yourself so much that you don't need other people's approval, and you don't care if other people reject you, because now you realize that God is protecting you from people that are rejecting you. That's how God played a part in my life. When I decided to read rededicate myself to God. And it's been a journey, but it's been a journey, but I have endured, and you will endure too. I don't know who I'm talking to, but get some help. Go talk to a therapist. Go, and sometimes you don't even got. You can go online and find your therapist. She ain't even got to go in the office no more, child. So you really don't got no excuse. So look it up. Some of the websites that you can go to for therapists and things of that nature. And you know, take care of you. Not just the outside, but take care of the brain. Take care of what's inside. Take care of what's inside. Your brain is the most active part in your body. Don't just think it's use it. My grandma would tell me, don't just use your head for a hat rack, okay? And now I understand that concept. But if you are feeling like you want to commit suicide, if you feel like you want to kill other people, because they showed it asked me that when I went to the hospital, child, when I went in for this nervous breakdown. Let me give you this experience. I've never experienced this before. My first and last time. I was at work at a patient house. And I wasn't feeling good that day. And I just and at the time I was homeless. So I would leave the homeless shelter and go right to work. And all these things, you think about, well, how I'm gonna do this, and the shelter didn't give me about 30 days deal. And they wanted me to find a place and get you a job, and I had already had a job. So and other other financial obligations I was dealing with at the time. I could not I could not save enough money to go and move out and get my own place. Um, my thing, I was in my patient's house. I couldn't stop crying that day, and I just felt weird. I just felt weird and off, and I wanted to get back in the bed, and I just would bust out crying and things like that. So I went to the hospital, and they asked me these questions. Say, do you feel suicidal? Do you feel you want to kill? Do you feel like you want to kill yourself or other people? That's the question. And do you feel like they ask you a plethora of questions when you go in and say, somebody help me because I feel like I'm having a nervous breakdown. Okay. If you go to any hospital and you tell them you need help, they are obligated to help you. If you feel like you're mentally unbalanced, because they can send you to another hospital, psychological hospital, to go and you could get help and you can seek treatment. But it is up to you whether you want to get off that mental roller coaster or not. So, and they give you the proper meds, and you seek the proper medicine, and you see a therapist, and now you do all the follow up after they let you out of the mental hospital. Keep your regimen up, and this is one thing I had to learn how to stay away. Stay away from stressors, triggers that will send me to that zone. Stay away from people, places, and things, just like they say in drug treatment. Stay away from the people, places, and things that trigger your mental instability. If a person is giving you this mental instability, stay away from that person. If certain thing or situation brings this on, don't put yourself in that situation. It's all about mindset. It's about the mindset. And it is very important that we keep our minds focused and we keep our minds free from all the clutter. And sometimes it means being by yourself, enjoying yourself by yourself. Sometimes that's the best mental equation sometimes that I like to do, where I cut off this phone cut the phones off. I cut the phone off. I don't mess with no electronics that day. I watch my TV. I lay in the bed, and sometimes I'll sleep. I will sleep. I get up, go to the bathroom, go back to sleep. I rest, cause sometimes we need rest. If we going all the time, we going all the time, and we don't get the proper rest, that can have detriment to our mental health as well. When we don't get the proper sleep, don't get the proper food and nourishment, we don't take care of ourselves, and don't compound that along with health issues. That ain't good either. So that's why I tell everybody, if you go to the doctor, go to the doctor. Go get your mammogram, pap smear, everything checked, your blood, heart, lungs, everything, women parts, man parts, get that stuff checked. Because if you're not together, who gon', if you're not together in a whole sense, you can't perform well, you don't do well, child, you be falling apart. So my thing to whoever I'm speaking to, go get yourself looked at. Go get yourself checked out. Go to a therapist if you need to go. Go to a psychologist if you need to go. Okay? Because you only got one you, and you better take care of you. Okay? I want to say thank you to everyone for coming in for Let's Talk Sunday. This has been our talk for today. And if you have questions, if you leave them in the comment section. If you want to give me suggestions for this program, I will take them in advisement and discuss and give them some thought, and then I will let you know what we come up with for this show. Okay. I want to thank everyone for coming in and watching Let's Talk Sunday. I thank you so much for your time and your patience, and you doing what you got to do for you. Okay. Take care of you. You ain't got but one. You ain't got but one you. Love on you. Sometimes that means drawing away, or drawing away or backing away from people, places, and things that bring out those bad mental health issues that you dealing with. Okay. I love y'all, and I'll see y'all next Sunday. Bye, babies. Hello, and welcome to Let's Talk Sunday, where we talk about everything under the sun and nothing is off limits. Welcome to Let's Talk Sunday.